You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
Welcome back, guys. Today I'm chatting with Doren Aldana. Doren is the CEO and president of True Trust Marketing and the founder of Testimonial Engine, the #1 software for helping service-based businesses collect and share client reviews on autopilot. He is also the host of the Local Domination podcast, where local business owners learn how to get local clients fast. Since 2005, he has been dedicated to helping business owners attract more clients with less effort, regardless of marketing conditions. His life mission is to inspire and equip people to create an extraordinary life full of passion, purpose, and prosperity. Speaking my language. Doren, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So let's just chat about, tell us where you're calling in from and maybe something interesting about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm in beautiful Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. For those who aren't familiar, I'm 3 hours drive east of Vancouver. Tournament capital of Canada, more tournaments per capita here than any other place in Canada.
Yeah.
Volleyball, basketball, hockey, basket weaving, you name it, we do it. So, father of 4, so sucker for punishment status to be sure. Took me 4 kids to finally come to realize they're a heck of a lot easier to make than to raise. So we finally shut down the plant. Took us a while to figure it out, but we finally figured it out. And husband, father, entrepreneur, not mentally fit to work for anybody. I found that out early in we were talking off recording about my life-changing experience living in a frat house way back in 2000. And I guess it was 97. I was 19. And that's where I found God. It's an ironic place to meet God in a fraternity house, but God works in mysterious ways. Yeah. And that's actually where I also cut my teeth in entrepreneurship. I actually put myself through university in College Pro Painters as a franchisee. So I learned, how to market, how to sell, how to hire, how to fire, how to make money, how to lose money, all that stuff. So that was kind of the beginnings that fanned to flame my fire for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, when I get interviewed, I kind of have a very similar story on the Greek life side. When I talk about entrepreneurship and where I learned it initially was the fraternity world, and although not the franchisee side, but definitely being the president for a couple of years and having everybody working for one common goal and having money coming in, money going out. I mean, you're running a business and any kind of organizational structure, right? Whether it's a fraternity or a club on campus, and so definitely a lot of fun, of course. So we had a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, definitely had a lot of crazy skills that didn't realize what I was learning at the time, of course, because I thought we were just having fun and realizing definitely raising money, spending money, where to go at budgeting. So tell us a little bit about our listeners about your company, what kind of value it brings to the marketplace.
Yeah, so I have a couple. One, we provide marketing solutions to mortgage professionals. It's called mortgagemarketingcoach.com. Mortgage bankers, mortgage loan officers, mortgage brokers who are on 100% commission. You eat what you kill, and if you don't know how to market, you're going to have skinny kids. So I help those peeps have healthier, more robust, more nutrition-fed kids with a fat bank account and hopefully a little fat around their kids' ribs. So we do that, and then we also have mytestimonialengine.com. The company's name is True Trust Marketing, and it's a software as a service that helps any business in general, but local businesses in particular. And by local, I mean businesses that really lean on and leverage the local search on Google, on the Google map. When people are searching for their product or service online, oftentimes they show up on the Google map or they don't. And so we help those companies get more Google reviews in general, as well as other reviews like Yellow Pages, Yelp, Bing, you name it, and help them to become the only logical choice in the prospect's mind. So we automate that whole process.
Awesome. And when did you start these companies, by the way?
The mortgagemarketingcoach.com one we started way back in 2005. So that's been a labor of love spanning 15 years. And then the True Trust Marketing Testimonial Engine, we started that in 2014. So that's been about 6 years.
Awesome. And so were there any integrations or any kind of like correlation of why both of those companies kind of connected?
Well, the first one kind of fed into the second one because after about a decade of serving mortgage professionals, it became evidently clear that we're going to need to start to be more proactive and strategic around helping our clients get on the Google map and get more 5-star reviews. So we were doing it kind of the caveman style initially, just creating a template for them to ask for reviews on Google. We realized it's kind of clunky, and there was not a whole lot of automation. It was relying on a lot of human effort and motivation on the part of our clients. And anytime that happens, chances are they're going to get in their own way, and it's not going to happen consistently. So that gave birth to a solution which became the testimonial engine, which was really just trying to figure out how to automate and systematize the process so they can just set it and forget it, and also be able to leverage their time more effectively and make it easier for the client to give them a review, because we found that if we don't make it easier for the client, chances are they're not going to do it.
Did you have a lot of challenges knowing that you started a company in 2005 around mortgage?
Yeah, so we actually started before the meltdown hit.
Right before.
So, things were clipping along. And at that point, I was just clueless, right? I had a client who came to me. He was a mortgage consultant at a credit union. He was tired of the humdrum, 9 to 5 with the glass ceiling over his head. I was starting to study marketing, realized, I need to learn this thing for myself, because I was doing silly things like cold calling and offering free consultations. And while it worked to an extent, it certainly wasn't the firepower I needed to scale. So I started to study marketing, and then this client came to me, and he was wanting to take the leap from 100, from salary plus a little commission to 100% commission, which you kill. And he was like, man, I'm freaked out and excited at the same time. I need some help. So I helped him make that transition, and make a long story short, he blew it up. Within 8 months, he tripled the money he was making at the credit union, and he hasn't looked back since. Now he's got over a 200 million per year funding that he does with his mortgage business. And he was the one who kind of spurred me on. But yeah, we hit the turbulence come 2008, 2009. And interestingly enough, people needed me even more, because they realized, man, people are dropping like flies. I got to get the edge. I got to get the unfair advantage. I got to find a way to, to stay in this game. Forget thriving. I just need to figure out how to be surviving. And so, believe it or not, even in the turbulence, when people are dropping like flies, that's when they're realizing I can't afford to show up to the gunfight with a butter knife. So it's time to get equipped. Yeah. So it actually, believe it or not, even though it was a turbulent time for me, things kept, growing and going.
Well, good. Tell us a little bit about that. Has there been a specific time, Doren, where you feel you've kind of hit rock bottom or close to it, and you've had to overcome some kind of disaster in your entrepreneurship journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a few that, aren't.
Most people are like, hey, how much time do you got, buddy? I go, I know, I get it. and I get it. But yeah, I just love to kind of give the perspective out there of those that are aspiring entrepreneurs and current entrepreneurs, that we get it. We're with them. We sympathize, and it's part of the game. But yeah, I'd love to hear the story.
So I got a few of them, as I'm sure any entrepreneur who's been in the game for any period of time, who's got an ounce of ambition would attest to themselves. It's not a straight road, that's for sure. I'll give you the Cole's Notes version of a couple. One was kind of early in the game, where I remember I was living in a little 733 square foot chicken coop apartment with my wife. We just had a baby, and I was wanting to step up and slay dragons for the family. She was stay-at-home mom. And I remember one afternoon just absolutely bawling my guts out, and on my knees, literally in this very contrite position, just pouring out my soul to my wife, feeling distraught and very frustrated with circumstance, because I was trying to conquer and take new ground, and yet I was floundering and spinning my wheels and going backwards. And I'd been racking up some debt on the credit card, and I was just feeling disappointed with myself. Felt like I was letting myself down, letting my wife down. And I was just in this place of realizing I need to change something, And I remember my wife being very compassionate and, kind of being in my corner to support me. She's always been one of my greatest cheerleaders. But that was kind of a turning point where I realized, you know what, I need to find a way to become better, a better leader, a better marketer, better at what I do, and not just go out there and whack a dull axe at more trees, but I need to find a way to sharpen my axe. And, if things are going to get better, I got to get better. So that was definitely a pivotal moment for me. And then further down the path, not actually that long ago, I had taken some significant leaps and bounds, breakthroughs in my business, built a 7-figure business, had a lot going on, had a big payroll, things were cranking, was investing like $100,000 plus in my personal and professional development a year. Things were sailing. All of a sudden, I started to bump up against my own weaknesses again, with having my expenses being rather rich, having a lot of fat on the proverbial bone that didn't necessarily need to be there, not really tracking my expenses as well as I should. And all of a sudden revenue started to dwindle for about 3 or 4 months. And my profits just started to get chewed up in a heartbeat. Next thing you know, I'm racking up credit card debt like crazy. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay payroll. And so it was a similar thing of me bumping up against my own weaknesses, but just in a different way. And it's interesting how no matter how high you climb, you're always going to be bumping up against your own weaknesses, whatever those weaknesses are. And if you don't find a way to strategically either get that skill yourself, or better yet, have a team member who's, unique where you are weak, or finding a way to do both, it's going to be that cul-de-sac of frustration. And that's where I found myself, where I was like, man, what the heck am I doing? I'm feeding the world here. I'm bringing in all this money. I realize revenue is a very, very different thing than profit.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Right. So those would be probably the 2 biggies that I can recollect off the top of my head.
How would you say you got better, by the way, to dig a little deeper, Doren? What did you feel like? And I love that you said that, by the way, because I think, I know at the end of my outro is, in order for things to get better, you have to get better. In order for things to change, you have to change. Jim Rohn is the man.
Yes.
That thing stuck with me for so long ago that I ran with it, and it's such a big part of my life. But I absolutely agree with it. This is what I do today, to really just you and I helping being knowledge brokers to those out there that are willing to take the dive and realize that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's exciting. It's a lot of fun, and there's some ups and downs. But tell us what you did to get better. What do you feel like you did if you're looking back at that?
Yeah. So it was a different pivot for a different season of my life. When I was balling, with my wife rubbing my back, and in that just deep place of distraught frustration, I just picked myself back up, got back in the office, and started to really invest in my own personal and professional development. I was doing it the hard way. I didn't realize it, but I knew the fruit of it, the bitter fruit of seeing the bank account dwindle and me just spinning my wheels. So I realized I need to invest in myself. So I started investing in courses. I remember investing in David Fry's coaches and consultants boot camp. And it was like, I don't know, $297. But for me at the time, it was big money, right? Yeah. And that was a game changer. Started to invest in myself, started to really sharpen my marketing and sales sword, and sharpen my skills, my copywriting skills, my strategy online. So that was a game changer. Started to do a lot more attraction-based marketing versus just, chasing people, prospecting with manual human effort. So automating the lead generation process, the lead conversion process. A big part of that was just investing in my own education. They say, some people might say, well, Doren, education's expensive. Well, try ignorance. I tried it, and that's a lot more expensive.
That's right.
So, yeah. And on the flip side, when I had this more recent breakdown with me bumping up against my weakness around tracking my expenses and keeping a lean machine in my operations to protect my profitability, it was a few things. One is I realized that I need to be vigilant in tracking my expenses every month so that I can pare back anything that's not mission critical and necessary. And it's better to prune back the cancer before it takes your body. And likewise, it's better to prune things back that could corrode and erode the strength and profitability and health of your business proactively and preemptively, as opposed to procrastinating and waiting till the baby monster becomes Godzilla and takes the city. So having a more proactive approach, tracking those numbers on a monthly basis, and actually going through the statement, as novel as that sounds, with a highlighter and just looking at what needs to be pruned back. The other thing too is I had a model where, and I still do have a model where I was doing what they call in the industry is high ticket selling, which basically means, we're producing massive impact, massive value, massive transformation with a significant price point. So it's champion level transformation with a champion level investment. And in order to do that, you need to have very highly skilled influencers on the phone, not salespeople, but influencers. And I was in such a rush to grow my business, and it was such a rush to liberate myself from doing all that myself, that I was not vigilant enough to find the people who have the raw talent that I can mold into a powerful influencer to liberate people through this sacred process of, taking people on a breakthrough call to ponying up a significant dough on the spot to change their life. And so I was just basically taking anyone with a pulse that could fog a mirror, for the most part, who I thought might have some semblance of experience and track record, and just throwing them right on the phones. And that was a big, big error in judgment, because I was dropping probably $300 to $500 to get people on the phone.
Yeah.
And you're going to chew up profits and your bank account in a hurry if you do that without getting the right people converting. So
it's like a craps table.
Yeah. So, so my desire to liberate myself and my desire for freedom ended up enslaving me, because I was not patient enough to find the right people who have the raw talent, who are coachable, malleable, teachable, and committed, and to be able to really sew into them and have them pursue mastery in the process and gain mastery in the process. I just threw them into the fire. Basically, it was trial by fire, and more often than not, it was burning and churning through people. So I just decided to level up in the game. The game is not to get people on the phones. The game is to train and cultivate masters in influence. And so there's a very different mindset around it. There's a very patient approach around it. And it's a very diligent, painstaking process of really unpacking the mastery of it versus just throwing people into the fire and hoping for the best.
We're going to dive into our guests' experiences in business and life after this quick message. Life Nation, are you struggling with growing your business and hitting goals? Or are you over the 9-to-5 grind, finally ready to take the dive into entrepreneurship? What are you waiting for? Go to michaelivas.com to set up a free, no obligation coaching call today. That's MIKEOLIVAS.com. I can help you. It may be the best call you've ever made. Why do you think a lot of entrepreneurs out there, in your opinion, just give up?
Because it's dang hard, brother.
Yeah.
You know that to be true, right? I mean, it's certainly not for the faint of heart. We're talking about the front lines of capitalism in the real world, and there's bullets flying by your head on a daily basis. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get one between the eyes. And so, it is not a comfort coddling experience, but at the same token, if one seeks the right counselors, if they seek to not be the smartest person in the room, but the dumbest person in the room, so to speak, where they're seeking people who, in Ray Dalio's terminologies, he calls that believable people, right? In his book Principles, which is an awesome book, you got to surround yourself with believable people who have at least 3 successes under their belt in the area that you want to have success. And You want to defer to getting other people's perspective. And I think a lot of people, they don't do that because they're coddling their own comfort zone. I've done this too. I want to be right. And my pride got in my own way. And, so I'd rather be right in my folly than be wrong in success, because, if we have our need to be right inextricably linked with our sense of value and worth, and if we feel like we have to be right in order to be worth something or to be valuable, then we're sure to have some significant trials and tribulations to shake that folly out of our system, because life will definitely kick you in the nuts if you don't have the humility to ask for help from the right people and get that guidance. And I think that's really a big part of why people fail and why people throw in the towel, give up on the dream, and start punching the clock 9 to 5, building someone else's dream with the office ball and chain around their ankle, because they don't invest in themselves. They don't invest in themselves with the right counselors, the right mentors, the right coaches. And so they pay to the tuition to the university of not knowing what to do, not knowing how to do it, not knowing that they're doing it the hard way. Because when you're inside the bottle, you can't see the label, and they're too close to the action. They don't get that added perspective. And what you don't know can hurt you. It's like what Jim Rohn said. He said, people say that ignorance is bliss. Ignorance ain't bliss. Ignorance is suffering.
Yep.
Ignorance is stress. Ignorance is strife. And certainly on the front lines of capitalism, you can 10x that, because the stakes are high.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also say knowledge is power, but it's not. Action is, right? We can know everything in the world, but not do anything with it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening need to listen, but also take action. Tony Robbins says massive action. I love that. But the bottom line is do something with it.
Yeah.
How many of us know friends that are super intelligent but aren't doing shit with it? I'm sorry. There's so much to be out there. Getting kicked in the nuts, like Doren just mentioned, that's going to happen. And you kind of, start becoming, not that anybody's going to call you nub nuts, but you're going to start getting those like nub nuts where you're just realizing like, okay, it's part of the process. It's part of the game. And let me just start taking these bullets straight on versus dodging them on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's it. And if you're numb to the feedback and you just keep charging east looking for the sunset, you're going to have a problem. Right. So it's not just massive action. You can have massive action and be whistling with a smile from ear to ear. But if you're heading to the gunfight with a butter knife, you got a problem. Right. You got to have the right strategy, the right approach. And that's where learning from our mistakes and realizing that they're just portals for new discovery. There are opportunities to start again more intelligently. There are opportunities to get sharper, wiser, better, and stronger. And so I think a lot of people, they get their ego in the way. And they see it as a slight on their own value and worth as a human being, and they collapse the event called "quote unquote" failure into who they are as a person in their identity, and that's where they get stuck, because when you see yourself as a failure, you can't learn. Now you're in fight or flight in the limbic system, that part of the brain, that the reptilian brain that wants to protect you, ends up being your downfall, because you're not agile and receptive to learning. Instead, you're licking your wounds, feeling sorry for yourself, and now you become the self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. Yeah, you're right. As Henry Ford once said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. What you believe, so you are.
Yep, 100% mindset. That's huge. And I want to get your piece of parting advice here for the business of life. Nation listening today, before we tell people where they can find you. Out of all your successes and failures, what is one piece of advice you give to the entrepreneurs out there and aspiring entrepreneurs that are listening?
I'm a big fan of routines. I've often said that you can have champion level routines, but if you got chump level, if you can have champion level results that you desire for, but if you have chump level routines, you've got a problem. So we got this juxtaposition of ambition and desire, and we got our eyes on this prize. But if we're not willing to submit to the process and align the caliber of our process with the caliber of the prize, that which we seek, then we have a disconnect. And I think that's a big part of what causes a lot of strife and struggle for entrepreneurs, is they've got these champion level ambitions and these champion level results that they're pursuing, and yet they have chump level routines, right? They wake up in the morning, instead of, either having a time of fueling their fire, fueling their rocket, filling their cup with inspiration, motivation, education, or exercise, or something that uplifts them and energizes them and gets them ready to slay dragons and kick ass, take names, chew bubblegum, and crush it for the day.
Yep.
They get on the screen, they check email, they get bogged down in the minutia, they don't exercise, they don't have a routine that up levels their game and their mindset. They watch the news, they start to get influenced by programming that sucks the juice out of their battery. And then they wonder why they're so stressed out and frazzled and fried and burnt out. And then they keep doing the same old thing and getting the same old result because they don't have any new influence. They don't have any new inspiration. So I think a big part of success is realizing that you can't buy success. You have to pay rent, and rent is due every damn day, with the disciplines of success, with sharpening your sword, with fueling your rocket. So I'm a huge proponent of mastering your morning and having a morning masterpiece routine where, start the day right. I started the day this morning, got up at 5. I had time on my knees in prayer. I had time in the scripture. I had time to meet with my maker. I had time to just marinate in the things that matter most. Yep. And then I went to the gym. Before this interview, I hit the gym. While I'm at the gym, I'm listening to some training. So I got that inspiration, that download of awesome to fill my mental factory with more fuel to be able to become better. Jim Rohn, he said, you can have more because you can become more. So this is part of becoming more, but also elevating my energy, because when I'm at the gym, my metabolism is going up. All of a sudden now I got more energy because I expended energy. Imagine that. If you want to have more of something, you got to give more of it. In this case, giving energy receives energy. So, having that routine, and then, after I get the kids to school, I'll have some time visualizing my dream life as if I already have it, feeling the emotion as if I already have it, having that thrill of victory as if it's already mine, being grateful for what I have now, and then being grateful for my dream life as if I already have it. What that does is it gets me vibrating on a frequency of victory. We're all made of energy. If you look at a molecular level, electrons and protons is just energy. And so if you want to achieve a dream life, you got to get your energetic frequency in alignment with that dream. If you're thinking positive but you're feeling negative, you got a problem, because you attract what you feel, not what you think. So having that time of just being in a place of bliss and gratitude, meditation on what you're grateful for and what you're thankful for. Gratitude is such a powerful, energetic frequency. It attracts all matter of abundance in your life, and it allows you to enjoy the journey, not just achieving to be happy, but happily achieving, enjoying the journey because you're happy, you're glad, you're grateful, right? Along the journey, not trying to get somewhere so you can be happy, but you're being happy so that you can enjoy the journey and get somewhere. Right? It's both.
Down. Yeah, I have that written down right on my laptop, right in front of me as we speak. It says, enjoy the journey, not the outcome.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely right, because it allows me to push myself for patience in my businesses, because it's easy to be or to want the results yesterday, but you gotta be present and do your best to enjoy that. The process is some pitfalls along the way, and that's normal. Hey, Doren, I love the energy. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I know that our listeners are as well. And I love it, and I really thank you for your time. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so if you happen to be a mortgage pro, you can check me out at mortgagemarketingcoach.com. And if you're looking to create a breakthrough, we can hop on the phone with either me or one of my consultants and see if we can help you create a breakthrough in your business. Mortgagemarketingcoach.com. And if you're an entrepreneur in general, or you have a local business in particular where you lean big time on the local search, where your prospective clients or customers or patients are searching online for your category of business, your product or service, and you're not showing up, or you're not showing up at the top, and you're in the bowels of cyberspace and you're needing some help to get to the top and become the only logical choice with more 5-star reviews than any of your competitors, then check us out with the testimonial engine at mytestimonialengine.com. You can go on to the top navigation panel there and click on free demo, book a demo. We'll show you where the gaps and the holes are in your digital profile, from reviews to your SEO to the different directory sites that you need to be on, that you're not on, to the errors in your business name, address, and phone number that are causing you not to get credit for those digital assets, which will cost you in traffic, clicks, calls, and cash. Definitely book that demo, because it'll give you a lucid perspective on where you're leaving a lot of meat on the bone and where you're losing a lot of steam in your marketing engine. So again, that's mytestimonialengine.com. And I think the link for the demo is /demo. So mytestimonialengine.com /demo.
Boom. Doren, thank you for the knowledge bombs and sharing your story with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother. It was fun.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow, because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.